Hi guys, Punjab 2000 in the place. Once again, representing everything that's hot, Asian, Desi, Punjabi, urban, everything in between. Myself, Punjab2000.com representing. And we have, I'd like to call him my brother, my friend. I think we know we're on those terms now, aren't we? Dr. Subaig Singh. Welcome, Gianu, once again.
Pleasure, my bro.
Here we are at the lovely Flamingo in Leicester, beautiful venue, and it's a good vibe here. And I thought get you back down here and let's talk. You stepped up in the game. You've done it again. You've got the new release out, 1370 speed. So let's just backtrack a bit. So I remember when we spoke last time, and you were so focused on, I'm going to be bringing out songs all the time. I'm going to be bringing out songs all the time, singles. So you're literally doing that, 2016, 2017, and you stuck to your word. Some artists say, I'm going to bring this out, I'm going to bring that, but you literally have done what you said. So let's go back a bit. You had Munda Sardarande, Vichora, your first couple of releases, Nazran Firke, Te Chutti Nahi Lare. So, it's been a learning curve for you. Just let's go back a bit. Tell me a bit more.
Yeah. So, started off on the scene singing very traditional folk songs. At the time, I wanted to come in with a completely different sound that was current at the time because we've got a very saturated musical market and we're all in this race about how we can present something different and something distinct and something which stands out. Obviously, it helps the fact that I have got a love for traditional, old school, hardcore Punjabi folk music. At the time that I released Te Chutti Nahi Lare, there was nothing like that out there. And there hadn't been something like that for some time. So that's why I made my entry with basically traditional folk songs. And my first couple of tracks were kind of sad songs, very, very different to the upbeat dancing songs. And they did very well. They've definitely got their kind of audiences. And it's just been a journey of evolution, basically. It didn't take long before worked out, okay, we're going to have to do some dancing songs. We are catering for Punjabis. They like their sad songs, they like all kinds of songs. But first and foremost, they love to dance and they love Bhangra first and foremost. So, started evolving. Still kept some of the folk stuff there. Recently, I released Dua, which was a kind of a Sufi style folk song. But a lot of my songs have been Bhangra tracks. So Munda Sardarada was a Bhangra track, but it carried kind of like a 1960s, 1970s Muhammad Rafi sort of a feel to it. And then At, which was a big track for Popsy and I. That was a conventional, solid Bhangra beat song. And then going up to May, we released Nain Chandre, again, Bhangra beat song. But again, we tried to experiment with the sounds a little bit with that one. We put Trutti pieces in, which is like an old sound from A.S. Kang's time. Mm-hmm. We gave that kind of a flavour to the track, but it's still a dancing song. Then I came out with another song called Dua. This time round with 137, completely changed it. Wanted to surprise people. People sometimes start to typecast you and think that you're one kind of an artist and there's only one thing that you can do. Not the case with myself. I have got other cards up my sleeves. I've just chosen to show them in my own time. So with 137, we've basically got Bhangra Gidda meets electronic dance, EDM. It's like a thumping, almost like a Bollywood track. So it's a journey of evolution, and you've got quite a variety along the way.
I mean, the 1370 speed track, I heard it, I saw the trailer, got me excited, and I thought, what, your team, your squad, the people you're using in terms of production and music, Popsy, the legend, in my humble opinion. But the music is just something that's so resonant in your style. You're singing fantastic, you're going for the fantastic pronunciation, but that music is on point. And when I heard this, you can hear every single beat, every single instrument.
Yeah, no, thanks, bro. Definitely appreciate that. Popsy's put a lot of time and effort in this track. And to be fair, I mean, Popsy is one of these people who puts a lot of time and effort into everything, but of his own admission, he would say that he's put probably some of his best efforts into some of the things that he's done with me. And this particular track, he took it elsewhere for mixing and mastering, not the normal place that he takes it to. We spent extra money on getting it mixed and mastered to the highest standards. So from my point of view, I'm very happy, to hear you say what you said and to actually notice the level of production on it.
Great music video, quality there, production, and you've got the main man with a plan, Rimpy Prince. Tell me a bit more about him and how much he's involved. I mean, the guy's got a name in the industry, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I know of them as the godfathers of Punjabi music. I always knew that they were big from some of the work that they'd done, but I didn't realize how big they were until I actually started researching them and seeing that all of Diljit's early releases, you're talking, some of my favorite songs, literally, they are the godfathers of the Punjabi music industry. Now, there's one thing I didn't realize as well until I got there and actually met them, is that a lot of people think that Rimpy Prince is one person, but it's actually Rimpy and Prince, two brothers. One is quieter, on the kind of promotion side of things, but when you get there you realize he's not a quiet individual, but it's two guys, two brothers, Rimpy Prince.
And we know that Popsy and Rimpy Prince had that partnership, so that's almost like a form of endorsement, like, this guy is the bee's knees.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rimpy Prince are the kind of people, they're at that level of work where you can't really approach them and ask them to do a video unless it's gone through a specific channel. And that specific channel in this case was Popsy because of the existing link. So it was because of that link that this project actually happened. So in a sense, it is kind of an endorsement as well. Obviously, when I got there, it was a little bit daunting at first because you are talking about people who are very, very high level. You're talking about people who've got access to absolutely everything, film studios, the full works, they are of that kind of a caliber. So I had the utmost of respect for them, for their opinions, for their advice all the way through, and they were impressed with me as well. They could see something in me in terms of my performing ability, singing ability. It was positive, creative energy bouncing off in all directions. Rimpy Prince, the Rimpy Prince and Popsy partnership had been quite successful the couple of times that it happened in the past. So we're talking about Nog 2, very, very big track, Popsy production. Jazzy B was the singer of that one, and Rimpy Prince did that video, and that was a video that really blew up. These are people who took folk music videos, the folk style, to the highest level that it's probably been taken in video form, in terms of the imagery of the kurtle chadre and that sort of a feel. And the same thing replicated again with Singa Diya Gaddiyan, again a Rimpy Prince and a Popsy production. So that link between Popsy and Rimpy is very, very strong. So initially, Popsy approached them for a separate track, which I've not released yet, which was kind of like a very slow, heavy, classic kind of a Bangla track. It's probably the one that I want to release next, and looked to Rimpy Prince, to say, look, you guys have made some bangers for me in the past. I've got another one. What do you think of this? They loved it straight away. When I went to India, it was only going to be one track that I was going to do with them, but ended up doing 3 with them. To be honest with you, just an amazing experience to work with people of that caliber.
And in terms of any input from your end towards, into the actual video, the storyline, was there any involvement from you on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I'm very passionate about my videos. I think in this day and age, it's gone are the days where a singer is just a singer. In this day and age, a singer's got to be an actor, a performer, a dresser, a speaker, an entertainer, a comedian, and everything, So I think you have to have an input, and you have to state clearly what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want. So we were involved with that every step of the way, to make sure, we got what we want. I think those guys are the experts, so that's their area of expertise. Same as Popsy's expertise is the area of music. So what you can do with these experts when you bring them in to do a job for you is to give them a very good brief about what it is that you're looking for, an overall big picture. And then after that, once you've given that brief, you have to leave it to their expertise to, to actually, do the nitty-gritty of it.
Tell me about the motorbikes. The intro and the motorbikes, there's people going crazy on that. That was just a banger of an opening. Tell me more.
So, this track, it's you can take it a number of directions when you listen to this track. So obviously I'm taking you back now to the creative process again, yeah? So we've got this track, it's a thumping track. Popsy had visions in his mind of the Gangnam Style. He wanted like a nightclub feel, thumping lasers, massive dance troops, that sort of a thing. That was definitely one direction we could have taken in. The other one was this could actually be a very typical wedding track. It could be a Gidda Boliyan track. If you close your eyes, I know it's hard to get that imagery out, but it could very easily be a traditional in suits wedding type of a feel. So it could go one way or the other. So in the end, we opted for going for the more urban route, and I think the Rimpy Prince guys had Step Up in their mind, dance battles and things like that. So a lot of that material, motorbikes, break dancers, people doing flips, fire stunts, all that kind of stuff, that came from them. So that was basically their idea. They were getting guys in, who are motorbike stunt experts, bike experts. They were getting national level break dancers in. It was not a small level operation.
So talk about the video, and I've mentioned before, quality production. on the set, behind the scenes, the costume, the cast, the production crew, the choreography, everything, behind the scenes. Tell me about that. That must have been an experience.
Absolutely. I mean, there's, without a shadow of a doubt, we've stepped up in levels by working with Wimpy Prince, and that was apparent from the get-go. When you go and meet them, you have preliminary meetings in their office. They've got a widescreen TV. They start doing like a pin board, with different ideas, concepts, diagrams, pictures. We're looking at this reference, that reference. So you're talking about people who know what they're doing. It's not, kind of like an amateur job where you just turn up, switch the camera on, see whatever footage you get, and edit it afterwards. You're talking about, a real kind of screenplay going on. You meet members of the team beforehand. You actually have rehearsals. We had dance rehearsals. There's a guy called Vivek, who's the dance choreographer. Met with him. Went through dance moves. Had rehearsals with the girl Poonam, who's actually quite a famous actress in India at the moment. Working with her, she's a lovely girl. Then moving on to the choreography, going through things in the actual studio. Then, going shopping for the clothes. We went to Zara in Chandigarh, in Mohalli, picked up the outfits that we were going to get, ankle boots, the kind of stuff which I don't normally wear. It's not stuff that I would choose for myself, but the look worked. They wanted to completely change my look for this one. Previously, I'd gone for folk outfits and kind of chosen it myself. On this particular one, they said, we want you to go for a young, trendy kind of a look, so they chose the outfits, everything is planned stage by stage, as you're going. And then the shoot day itself, it runs like clockwork. You've got a vanity bus. It's like being on a film set. You've got hundreds and hundreds of people. You've got dancers coming in. International level break dancers. Guys on bikes, and there's just a hype of activity, a real big buzz when you're there on the set. From my point of view, I'm a natural performer. You can stick me in front of people and I'll be happy, I'll be comfortable, wherever you put me. So for me, I relish in that kind of environment, and that brings out the best in me. So for me, I'm absolutely loving it. I don't eat on shoot day. We have a vanity bus. They're trying to get me to eat food, pizzas, all the other snacks that I like to have. I won't touch them because I'm on such a hype, such a big, adrenaline buzz, just trying to give it my best.
And did Vivek teach you that move?
that move was basically a spontaneous move at the time. So he just said, in fact, I've got a bit of a behind the scenes footage of him running that move through. I'll put it on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'll show it to you. And it was just this move where you kind of go like this, that move. Yeah.
I was looking at that, since the video came out earlier on today. I was like, that's technical.
I don't know how technical it is. I think there are probably some people who don't like it. Some people have said, look, that move looks a bit dodgy. Personally, I think it's a good move.
I was being sarcastic, Subaig.
No, it's all right.
It was natural. That was just, I could tell. Well, that's why I thought when I saw you doing, I thought he's just being himself.
Yeah, that's what it was, So it was just kind of like a natural move to bust out. But what I like about it is that it's kind of like a pet move for the video, So we show it again and again. So what I'm hoping for is when people are on the dance floor, they'll pull out this move.
This move. So it's go hard or go home, really, isn't it?
That's exactly what it was, yeah.
And from day one, day dot, Singh's got style every time you come here. And we're just in an informal, relaxed environment, in this beautiful venue. And you've always got, the guys, the pink shoes, right? The pink shoes are representing today. Brogues, you right? Yeah. Pink brogue, got that little kind of shine going on. But even when I see some of the events, it's always you always step it up with, like almost like custom made, I was gonna say something else, but like proper like funky, flashy jackets and trousers and the matching bags and and. It's just like you always step it up. What's behind that? Is it like, do you think I need to do this, or is that just you?
It's just definitely that. It's definitely just been me. Even when I was a youngster, when I was 17, 18, and when I was at uni, I'd go on a night out, I'd go to a nightclub. I'd be the guy, I'd be that guy, who's got like a white suit on or something like that. I'd always be, dressed in that sort of a way. So I think it's definitely part of my personality. I'm an extrovert. I've got that kind of performing, slight attention-seeking type of personality. So I guess that's reflected in the clothes. But I only do that when I make an effort to dress up, rather than on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, it's just normally it's tracksuits. Obviously, when I go to work, it's scrubs, which is like going to work in pajamas. So generally, I'm a very scruffy person. But when I dress up, I try to make a bit of an effort.
And your mum's a producer on this track. Tell me about that.
So yeah, mum's been the producer from day one. We set up our own record label, Mojave Records, and she's been the boss and the financier, moral support. She does everything, in that sense, it's very right to give her the title of producer because she's overall in charge of the product.
And just digressing slightly, you're a doctor by trade. You've been a former MMA fighter, and your mum was in the army. When I saw that, I was blown away. I was like, I can see where this, strength is coming from. Yeah. So, she's the natural born leader, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's a very she's a strong businesswoman. She's a strong lady. She's a very sort of powerful, dominant, assertive lady. She's definitely got those traits. I mean, she's running a very successful business in nursing care. I'm proud of her.
I would be going as far as saying Auntie Godore's got swag. yeah. Well, when I see the rock up at events with yourself, I'm like, Auntie's leading this. She just walks ahead like, this is my thing and I'm going to go. And you're like, I better just get on with it. Again, you stuck, I've noticed with some of the other tracks you've done, you stuck with Laddi Gomanpuri on the lyrics again. Tell me about that. You're not kind of ventured away from that.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I get people contacting me all the time to offer me lyrics and things like that. People send messages, and some stuff is good, some is not that good. But to be honest with you, with Laddi personally, I found consistently solid tracks that resonate with me personally. I think it's down to palates. Everyone's got different tastes, what they like, what they don't like. For me, with Laddi, his mastery of the Punjabi language for me is key. I think we were having one of our early chats. I mentioned that I wanted to step away from current trends, which involve a lot of the use of English words to sell a track. It's like, if my chorus line has got English words in it, then my track's going to be a hit, and that kind of a mentality. And to me, I don't do that because, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's because I feel that Sadi Punjab, maa boli hegi hai, te onu aapa kaim rakhna hega. So first and foremost, we have to protect our mother tongue instead of trying to dilute it. So that's all from one aspect. The other aspect is, if I put English words, I have to say them in an Indian accent. Yeah, and that just sounds wrong to me. Because we do Indian accents because obviously we're born and bred in the UK. So when we do Indian accents, we do it when we're taking the mickey or doing an impression or something like that. So for me to sing English words in an Indian accent, it kind of makes me laugh and makes me cringe a little bit. So I stay away from that. So what I've got is a lyricist who gives me strong, solid Punjabi. He's very professional to work with. Again, I give him a good brief. He sends me something back. He's prompt with it. And we bounce off each other in a creative way. So I can say, Paji, I like this, I don't like this, let's talk about this. And, he understands me, so we have that kind of artistic connection.
Okay. Are we going to see any more material from you on the comedy skits? That's in demand. That's resurfaced recently again. People have discovered you for that, and they think, hang on, this is that singer, and they kind of putting two and two together. No, this is him. No, it's not that person. So are we going to see that? Because I think that's where your real fame came from.
Yeah. Well, I think you might have a word with Tej about that, because I don't think Tej likes my comedy skits. But yeah, as far as comedy skits go, I'm not really doing them at the moment. Because they are controversial. My style of comedy is I like to do things on the cutting edge, and I like to do things which will offend some people and make you think. And I think whenever you do comedy and you create a joke, there's always somebody at the butt of that joke. Now, on the opposite end, you've got singing. Singing is a bit like politics. Singing is like, you've got to try and please everybody. You can't put a foot wrong, you can't say a word wrong. So for me at this moment in time, I'm staying away from the comedy skits. I would like to express it, it's a part of me. I'd like to express it in a different form, maybe a more legitimate form, like in maybe a film or a production.
You might be able to incorporate it into one of your songs, just like, how back in the day they used to get a lot of the bands bring out these songs, they used to have little skits in between, like a beginning and a middle and an end on the album. So, you could do it, but, keep it like, politically correct, I guess, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, it is something that could potentially work on stage. Doing a comedy track has always interested me. It would be very easy for me to do a comedy track, but again, I've stayed away from that. But I would stay away from that because, at this moment in time, because if I go down the comedy song line, you almost get typecast, and it's very difficult to move away from that. Once you become a comedian, anything you do, people find it funny, even when you're trying to be serious. You know, so I will do comedy and introduce it, but I've got to be very strategic and careful how I do it. Like even now, sometimes some of my comedy skits resurface. Like when I was in India now to shoot my videos, and my song Dua came out, some naughty person put my Subaig Singh, the Gurdwara Pradhan skit on. At the time that I was actually in India at the time. Now, even though that had gone viral a couple of years ago, obviously, the Indians didn't really get the humour, but somebody had gone out of their way to try and expose me, in a sense, at a potentially vulnerable time when I was in India. So it's something I need to be careful of.
Of course, no, I completely respect that. And the fighting, are you still involved? Are you still training? Because, straight up, everyone knows you as Subaig Singh, the fighter from the video, and when you came to light doing your, stuff going on YouTube. Any connections to that still? Are you still involved?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say to people, being a Sardar, you're a soldier first. Same as when you join the army, you become a tradesman, you become a cook or a signaller or something like that. To me, when you're a Sardar, first and foremost, you're a soldier. So for me, it's a way of life. Training, fighting, I'm always at it. I never stop doing it. I've put on a little bit of weight. I'm not, the kind of beast that I was, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I still train hard. And if I get an opportunity to fight, then I will do. I will try and fight this year if I can. I fought last year for a Thai boxing title, but it's not doing it as a profession as it was at one point.
No. And with the track 137 Speed, it just shows in the last 2 years you've come on leaps and bounds. Like I mentioned before, the production in the video is quality. It's as I'm mentioning off the camera there, they're family-friendly videos. You mentioned you got another track coming out. So what else have we got coming from you now? Because it's single after single after single. Yeah. There must be some strategy or plan in place here.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, at the moment, I'm just releasing singles. I have considered doing an album. I think there are pros and cons to doing singles and albums. Obviously, when you release an album, a lot of your tracks won't get the same kind of exposure as the single will. So you could release an album and there could be lots of cracking tracks on there, but they won't really get the attention that they perhaps deserve. And sometimes when you're trying to do an album, your quality goes down as well. So there was a time where you could release an album every 2-3 years and something like that would be okay. But I feel the way we're going right now, I think to stay current, it's important to just be steady and regular with the material that you're coming out with. That's not to say I've ruled out doing an album. It's just it's conversation, as you can imagine. It comes up. Shall we do an album? Shall we leave it? Shall we do one? So at this moment in time, still going with the singles. I've got quite a few tracks ready to release already now, so there will be more releases this year. And I think I'm at a stage now where I'd like to experiment with different styles, different musical genres. I've done a lot of Punjabi folk. It's still my first love, but I think it's important to show diversity. And to show that you can do different things, give different flavors of music, give different looks, different turban styles. You know what I mean? It's A to Z. I think variety is a spice.
Maybe a different language.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I was a youngster, I used to sing a lot of English tracks, patois tracks as well. That's something which I'm working on as well.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so you're moving out your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything you want to say before we wrap up and get a few lines from you to the people watching out there, Punjab2000.com?
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for supporting me. Thank you for all your love. I couldn't really do this without all your support. I'd like to thank my mum, Corbia Candola, the main man, Popsy. What a music director he is, and thank you so much for putting so much effort and time into my tracks. I've got a long list of people to thank. Obviously, you guys from Punjab 2000 have supported me from day one, been here along the way. Long list of people that supported Laddi Govindpuri. So many people, I just can't thank them all, but you guys all know who you are, so thank you very much. Keep supporting me. You'll hear a lot more from me in 2018.
Excellent. So a few lines for the people out there.
अणखना रहना रोब न सहना अणखना रहना रोब न सहना एयो ऐ सरदारी नी जे तैथों नहीं होने बदी चल छड़ दे जट्टां दी बिल्लो यारी नी जे तैथों नहीं होने बदी तली उत्ते रखी दी है यारी पिछे जान नी जिथे खड़ जाइए नहीं छड्डिए मैदान नी ए यार ने साडे बड़े ही डाडे ਕਰ ਦੇ ਖੁਦ ਮੁਖਤਿਆਰੀ ਨੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਬੈਰੀ ਚੱਲ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਯਾਰੀ ਨੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਬੈਰੀ ਚੱਲ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਯਾਰੀ ਨੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਬੈਰੀ ਚੱਲ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਯਾਰੀ ਨੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਬੈਰੀ ਚੱਲ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਜੱਟਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਯਾਰੀ ਨੀ ਜੇ ਤੈਥੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਬੈਰੀ
Big respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You take care.